into adult education, and can you share a bit more details about that? Not adult, outdoor education, sorry.
Oh, outdoor education, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I felt that I was born and raised in the city, so I knew nothing about nature. And I studied biology at university, and when you study biology, you learn nothing about nature. You just learn about the false laws that are, sold by the elite through universities to scientists, and meeting some Native Americans and people like that, it was pretty obvious that I knew nothing about stuff. So by going in nature, by spending a lot of time there, and by, for example, traveling 1 month or a month and a half canoeing in the northern parts of Quebec, where it's very wild, it gave me a chance to feel what wild nature was all about. So I started a connection with the invisible parts of nature, doing things like that.
That sounds really awesome.
Yeah, and it's something I didn't do at all during the martial arts part of my life. So it was another, exploring a new part of me, basically.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. Can you tell us a little bit about your teacher background, and as an educator, what did you go through and how much time you spent doing that?
Okay, well, I guess I'm going to start with birth because my dad was a teacher, and our house was always surrounded by books and by learning. My dad had his office in our house, and he had wall-to-wall books, like from the floor to the ceiling and wall-to-wall. So we were surrounded all the time by education, basically, from Cicero to Dostoevsky to, Pascal and all the great classics, including the Bible and the 1001 Nights, all these basic books that people hear about, we had in our house. So I was not only educated in a convent with nuns, where we have a very different type of education than what we have today in regular high schools, but I was bathing in that atmosphere of education in my house.
Wow.
So I guess that started the whole thing.
And how did that add up to you becoming a teacher?
Well, after 4 years of university in biology, I ended up realizing that what I wanted to do as far as research in biology, which was studying animal behavior at that time, was not very popular, so it was very difficult to get grants, and I just realized I probably wouldn't get the job I'd want. So I decided to become a teacher and to teach what I had learned about my love of ecology. In those days, ecology was just starting, the environment was just starting, it was in the 70s. And I had gone to the first international conference on the environment. It happened in Toronto in the 70s, and we had guys like David Suzuki, Jacques-Yves Cousteau were some of the main guest speakers. So it really inflamed me, and I decided to teach. So I took an extra year of education and got my back in education and started teaching high school. And that lasted 5 years because it's very quickly I realized that my ideal of what education should be and what was actually happening in schools were two different things. School was not, it became very obvious to me as a teacher that things were not organized for kids to learn. They were organized for kids not to learn things, or they were there to learn behavior modes, such as listen to the teacher. When the bell rings, you leave everything and you go to your next class. If you give the wrong answer, it doesn't matter as long as it's the answer that's acceptable by the government, and that's going to give you 100% in your exam. So it doesn't matter if it's true or not. Who cares? So it's all these things that got me so angry inside because I saw that it didn't work, and it created idiots, basically. Idiots and sheep that were just, drooling like a dog, or a dog, I guess, instead of a sheep. Every time the bell would ring, they wouldn't drool, they'd just change rooms, And they
Wow.
drool when they had good marks, and they wouldn't drool when they didn't have good marks.